Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Pierre Novellie. Thank you very much for coming out, Edinburgh. Let's put this over here because it is unnecessary. I will not be doing any theatrics with it. Thank you very much for coming out, guys. Welcome to the show. The show is called Why Can't I Just Enjoy Things? This title is not from my point of view. I think I enjoy things perfectly well, thank you. But I have been informed repeatedly by friends, family, and loved ones throughout my whole life that I'm wrong about that and should be enjoying things more in a way that they refuse to define. And if you get the same feedback forever and ever, you have to look into it, right? Like, it's a good thing to look into it. So I decided to look into it, and I think the reason people tell me this a lot is because I give a lot of stuff 6 out of 10. I 6 out of 10 a lot of stuff. And people do not like that, yeah? Which is a shame, isn't it? Because most things are fine. Most things are fine, aren't they? And I don't think I should be blamed for that. People think when I say most things are fine, it's damning with faint praise. Do you understand how I think that is the crowning achievement of all human endeavor? Guys, we did it. Most things are fine. There's hardly any polio at all. But people don't like it, and it's a shame, because most things are fine, and I think that's fine too. I guess I think I understand that they don't like it, like, emotionally. You know, like if you had a favorite album, and you said to me, Pierre, this album, I think it's art. I think this album is important, and it got me through some tough times, and I know all the words, and I think it's good, and I want you to listen to it and tell me what you think. And I came back to you and I went, yeah, it's fine, 6 out of 10. I mean, I'm pissing right in your face, you know, that's kind of rude, isn't it? Because it feels like the comment of someone who believes he's above it all. He's sort of going like, oh, you thought this was art? Well, that's interesting, because I found it mundane. I must be a little more advanced than you. So I get that it can come across like that, 6 out of 10, like it can seem rude. And look, it's not interesting, is it? 6 out of 10. No one likes a shrugger. You're not going to win Chat of the Year with that kind of attitude. We want 10 out of 10 or 0 out of 10, oscillating wildly between each other. Love and hate, that's what we like. And love is obviously great for obvious reasons, but hate's fun too. Hate's exciting. You ever chatting to someone, you know, and a mutual acquaintance comes up, Andy, doesn't matter, and Andy pops up, and then the person you're talking to, they go, Andy, I fucking hate Andy. I've always hated Andy. In that moment, you are not even remotely upset for your friend Andy. You're just so excited to find out why. You hate Andy? Why? What did he do? And you think, is Andy a Nazi? In that moment, it could be anything. What fun. What are we going to learn about our friend today? So I get it from that point of view. And look, professionally, I understand it as a comedian, like a 6 out of 10. That's a 3-star out of a potential 5-star review, isn't it, Fraction fans? Yeah. And you look at any movie poster, musical, play, there's not a 3-star on there because it's not a commercial recommendation. It's of no use. Certainly of no use to me when I get a 3-star review. The dream, right, from my point of view, just to give you a little peek behind the wizard's curtain, the dream from my point of view, probably a 1-star review in the Daily Mail, a 5-star in the Observer. What a show. If you saw that on a poster, you'd go, what cultural buttons is this guy pushing? What does he say? To be fair, in my business, you do not get punished for negative attention. You actually make more money. So equally useful from my point of view, a 5-star review in the Daily Mail and a 1 in the Observer. Frightening crowd, though. You do have to think about who you want in the room. So I get it. And so I'll work on it, but it's a shame because 6 out of 10, it's not a low score either, 60%. You know, it's a 2-1, isn't it? You've scraped the 2-1. You're on the grad scheme. They'll never check again. It's fine, isn't it? But people don't like it. And you know what? I understand, I think maybe why, but to be honest, I don't think a lot of this is my fault, the reason people don't like it. I think a lot of it is society's fault. By the way, can I recommend the next time you're worried about a personal flaw, just blame society. It feels good, because not only do you get to seem like clever and insightful, you also just get away with whatever's wrong with you. I think you'll find it's society's fault my house smells like this. Good day. But I do think I have a point, because hyperbole is everywhere now. It's the only language we seem to have. I mean, is Gen Z in? Gen Z? You're pretty young. I'm guessing because the light's in my face and people moisturize. I can't tell. I've looked like this since I was fucking 11. I don't know. You must be Gen Z, right? I've been on TikTok. I've seen what you guys are up to. And I don't like it. There's a comment on TikTok that the Gen Zers, they leave it under videos they like, whatever, a dog opens a jar. And the comment is, I'm throwing up, I'm crying, I'm dead. That's a stock phrase. I'm throwing up, I'm crying, I'm dead. It's not an appropriate response to anything, is it? Apart from Ebola. Fair enough, Ebola. But a dog opening a jar, no. And hyperbole is everywhere now. Like those reviews I mentioned earlier, like movie posters for theatre, musical. The reviews don't even make sense to me on those. I'll be in like the London Underground, say, and they got those big posters for the West End shows, and the quotes at the bottom will be like, this show left my sense of place in the universe shattered. And you go, oh my God. You read the next quote and it's like, I was sick into my lap. 5 stars. You're like, what show is this? I must know. And you look up at the title and it's a regional tour of Greece. And you just think, that can't be for that. That's not for that, is it? How could it possibly be? And it's all over comedy as well. There's a figure in comedy who is the worst for what you might call performative hyperbole, and I really hate him a lot. It's the cry laughing emoji. I really hate that guy. You don't need to worry about him. On TikTok, the young people, when something's funny, they use the skull emoji because, as I mentioned, they are dead. But the rest of us old fucks are stuck with the cry laughing man. You know, with little tears coming out the eyes. And the reason I hate the cry laughing emoji is because I need him. I need him. If you cover your online video in cry laughing emojis, people click on it like 1,000 times more. It's depressing, but it's true. And it's all about views. If you have a big enough number of views, TV producers, they're too busy and afraid to try and pick a guy on their own, so they just go, big number, let's have him on, right? That's how it works now. So we need views, so we need the cry laughing emoji. That's what the business is. It's all just online fucking. It's not like the old days. I know comedians from the 80s and 90s, and it sounds better. Just back then, you go to the terrifying pub, you go into the basement, be quite funny for 20 minutes, an incredibly frightening man would give you an envelope, and you go, here you go, see you next week. And you go, oh, thank you. And you'd open it up, 60 quid in there, go home, buy your flat, right? And you just spend the 90s amassing some sort of property empire, you know. It sounds fucking great. Now it's just Squid Game with memes and fighting over digital scraps, and we need the cry laughing man. It's all like click-through rates, key performance indicators, yeah? I am my own online digital marketing consultant, audio-visual engineer, podcast producer, gig promoter, like writer, director. The point of this life choice was to have no jobs. Not to have 7 jobs, each more freelance than the last. So we need the cry laughing man, but I don't like him because it's not real, is it? You didn't cry laughing at the dog opening the jar. None of us did. And crying laughing is a big deal. If any of you cry laughing, that is the highest compliment you can pay the chef, right? That's what we live for. It's a big deal crying laughing because it's rare. And you feel incredible for months afterwards. It feels like all the hate that's built up in your pipes has been fired out of you through joy. You feel shriven. Isn't it nice to feel shriven for once? Not just on Shrove Tuesday when you're supposed to. It's a big deal crying laughing. And when you watch the dog open the jar, you didn't cry laughing. What you did was you went, huh. You did a little honk. And that's at best. That is the highest praise you can give to the hilarious online video community. The honk. If we're honest with ourselves, a lot of the videos, we don't even honk. What we do is we watch the allegedly hilarious video in sepulchral silence. And in that silence, we make a calculation about whether or not it's worth forwarding to the family WhatsApp. I don't know if my parents are conversant enough with the universe of SpongeBob SquarePants to really understand why it's funny in this meme that Rishi Sunak is Squidward. I'll send it to the uni friends group. And you make that hilarious calculation in silence in between finishing your shit and wiping. So, don't fucking talk to me about crying laughing, because you didn't. I let other people ruin stuff for me a lot as well. I'm bad for that. That's my fault. I admit that. I let the public ruin things for me all the time. I fucking hate the public so much. God, I hate them. Not you. No, not you. All of us, right? All of you. You are here in a basement in an alternative comedy venue watching a not famous man record a stand-up special instead of enjoying the blazing sunshine of a Sunday. Right? None of us are the public. Not in any meaningful political sense. No one's after these votes. No, I don't mean us. I mean them out there. You've seen them. Getting basic questions wrong on daytime quiz shows. Throwing up on the bus. Stopping and checking their phone at the top of a busy flight of stairs. The public. The reason we can't have nice things. I'll let them ruin stuff for me all the time. I'll give you an example of when I let them ruin something for me. So I live in London with my partner, and her parents came to visit us in London from not London. Right? If you live in London, those are the two places on earth. And when someone visits London from not London, you must go see a show in the West End. It's in the Magna Carta. It's the law. So we took her parents to go see a show called The Play That Goes Wrong. Has anyone here seen The Play That Goes Wrong? A few people. So if you don't, woo indeed, it's very good. If you don't know The Play That Goes Wrong, it's like a parody of an Agatha Christie mystery, you know, The Mousetrap. Yeah, you're in a stately home, someone's been murdered, did the butler do it? You've seen it. Even if you haven't literally seen it, if you've watched a single evening of ITV, you've seen it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know all the characters. So that's the premise, right? But it's like a parody, right? And the joke is that, oh no, this serious murder mystery is being put on by a bunch of fuckwits who mess it up, right? They get it all wrong. And like they get their lines wrong, and the costumes get all mixed up, and the set falls down. Ha ha ha. Now, can I just say how hard it is to accurately describe The Play That Goes Wrong without coming across like I have nothing but contempt for The Play That Goes Wrong. I've seen it twice, it's a guaranteed good time. You just have to understand, it's very hard to positively describe a farce. Oh, it's a farce. So it's very good, and we go in there, we sit down, and the seating arrangement is as follows, yeah? It goes parent, parent, girlfriend, me, empty, empty, aisle, yeah? I'm on the flank. I'm vulnerable to the public. The public come in and sit down. Today, they have taken the form of a Spanish lady and her boyfriend. Spanish lady sits next to me, the boyfriend completes the row. First thing I notice about them, they're both pretty tooty from a day of day drinking. Swollen necks. Second thing I notice, they each have an entirely plastic bottle of white wine from the theatre bar, one each. Now, I'm not against this so far, but it's a yellow card. To be honest, my first real problem with them, too many snacks. I mean, we're talking cheese and onion Pringles, we're talking wine gums, we're talking Revels. Now, all of these are fine if you eat them in order. But these fucking savages had open-bagged all three of those. Mixing and matching. It's not tapas, madam. Not this. I mean, cheese and onion Pringles and wine gums. Are we happy with that flavor texture combo? On the molar? They weren't even smell checking the Revels. If it's coffee, so be it, apparently. Chuck it in there, Heston, let's invent. So I thought, okay, these two are going to be a problem in a way that only I can perceive, apparently. But I could never have predicted the precise way. So, the first thing that goes wrong in the play that goes wrong, it's not a big spoiler, don't worry, is that they find the body right at the start, dead body, and people come on stage, and every time each character sees the body, they say, oh no, there's been a murder, and the music is supposed to go, ba-ba-ba, like that. And then a guy comes on, and the tech guy fucks it up. He goes, oh no, there's been a murder, and no sound. So then he has to just keep going, oh no, there's been a murder. Oh no, there's been a murder. Oh no, there's been a murder. Like looking at the tech guy, like, you know. And everyone's laughing, everyone's excited. This is what we've paid for. People are nudging each other. I think it's starting to go wrong. At that moment, the drunk Spanish lady next to me says, at this volume, oh my God, he forget the music? And I thought, well, I hope this isn't a pattern. That fucking lunatic, audio described for the blind, every single joke in both 45-minute halves of the play that goes wrong. It was astonishing. We were 4 rows from the front. The cast could hear. I don't know what they thought was happening. That today the play would be going wrong in 3D somehow. Today, even the audience misunderstood the premise of why they were there. And she was just yelling this, and obviously the steward had to keep coming over from her little, air hostess flippy chair to tell her to stop, right? And she would have to come over and just be like, madam, please. You can't live like this. Please stop describing the play. And every time the Spanish lady would do that kind of like drunk person in trouble, like, oh, I'm in trouble, But if you're a member of staff like this poor woman, you have to believe the customer, right? You can't secondarily jab your finger in their face and go, you better not be fucking lying to me! So the steward lady had to go, thank you for understanding, madam. Safe in the knowledge that the second she got back to her flippy chair, this lady, right back to fucking describing. Just like, oh, his wig has come off, this is bad for the play, So she could not be stopped, and I was so furious and confused that I had to do something I've trained myself to do when the public do something incorrectly. And what I do is I shut my eyes, and I imagine a world where they are doing the thing correctly, and I am wrong. And sometimes that can open up a gap for compassion. It doesn't always work. I remember once I was on the train, 9 a.m., sort of commuter train on a Thursday, and a lady came in and sat opposite me, a normal lady dressed for work, and began ramming slice after slice of bread into her mouth from the bag. With what I would call fury. And obviously I saw that, and I thought, oh no. In general. And so I shut my eyes. And I imagined a world where that was the best way to enjoy bread. And I thought, no, she's insane. Well, worth a try. Worth a try. Give her a chance. But see, the reason I bring it up is on this occasion, it did work. On this occasion, I did it, and I thought, you know what? They are right, and I am wrong. Because let's face it, they were enjoying the fuck out of the play that goes wrong. I mean, they were having the time of their lives. I can personally vouch that she fully understood every joke. And the boyfriend, well, he was loving it. I mean, he was laughing that slightly frightening pirate laugh. And when he laughed, he slapped his thigh. Like a Tudor. And I was the one who was wrong, wasn't I? Because they're doing that, and I'm the one here seething like a little gremlin. You know, they're not even smelling the revels. I'm the dickhead here, right? But how do I do that? How do I enjoy anything as much as this battered Spaniard? And it's not booze. I've been drunk in the theatre before, and I've never described a whole play out loud. So what is it? And so I've got to figure it out, because you know what? It's costing me money as well, this attitude problem of mine. Because my experience as an audience member is so easily ruined by like phone screen checking, loud chewing, drink slurping, you know. I now have to pay over the odds in a cost of living crisis when I have spent all my money on this jacket. I now have to pay over the odds to go to exclusionary and elitist cinemas, where that sort of thing just does not happen. I'm talking picture houses. I'm talking Curzons. I'm talking everymen. Yeah? Anywhere with a wasabi pea option. Something about wasabi peas just keeps these bastards away. And the sort of everyman picture house exclusionary elitist cinema that I go to, that would not have been tolerated. If I had been sat there and a drunk Spanish lady had begun to describe the piece of cinema I was trying to enjoy, you know, oh, the bear, he eats the marmalade, yes. Whatever art house film I'm enjoying. Well, I would immediately call over the maitre d' of the cinema. You know, the head butler of the picture house. Like that, I would say, Garçon! Garçon! And he would come over, the full Jeeves, yeah? Tailcoat, pinstripe trousers. And you know butlers have always got that white cloth on their arm? That's soaked in chloroform. That's what that's for. And he would use that to subdue the Spaniard in her chair. Obviously, she would narrate it. Oh no, the butler, he knocks me out. Then 2 footmen would come and carry her to the medical wing of the cinema. And the maitre d' would say to me, I'm terribly sorry, sir. And I would say, think nothing of it. But never let this happen again. And he would say, of course, as a token of our apology, please accept this 175 milliliter screw-top Malbec. En plastique. I would say, thank you, and I'd take that, you know. And then he would go, rewind the film! We're all going to watch it from the beginning again, properly. And then he'd take her chair and have it burned. Is that so much to ask? From £5 Odeon Thursdays or whatever? Apparently so. So I'm working on it. I'm going to work on it. It causes issues in relationships as well, this problem of mine, because, as I said at the start, I do enjoy things perfectly well, in my opinion. However, I will admit that I do enjoy things completely internally. There's no real sign that it's going on. Yeah. And every girlfriend I've ever had has always said, like, I've never told what's going through that mind of yours. Never told what you're thinking about. And for years, I took this as a compliment. Enigmatic, you say. Mysterious, strong and silent. James Bond? No, what they were saying the whole time is, you have a stressful head. Looking at your head is very stressful. I don't know what's going on. And I am enjoying myself, like I say, but like, look, it's internal. My fun is like the governing of North Korea. It's going on, But externally, it is hard to establish a picture of how and when. And you end up leaning heavily on the testimony of those who have fled. And in my last relationship, that meant that I got asked a question all the time by my ex-girlfriend, what are you thinking about? All the time. And now the problem with that question is that, like a lot of men, when you say, what are you thinking about? The answer is, nothing. Not, oh, nothing. Like if you ask your girlfriend, what do you think about? She might say, oh, nothing. That's the female version. Oh, nothing could be anything. That could be anything. I'm thinking about, did your sister really like my birthday present? Do we need milk? You know, are we going to be there in time? Valuable stuff. Not, oh, nothing. Nothing. Just. Do you remember the bit in Gladiator when he runs his hands through the wheat? Nothing. The trouble with that answer is that it's neither plausible nor reassuring. It's not plausible and it's not reassuring. Like if you came to my house and in my living room I had a coffin. And you said, what's the coffin for? And I said, nothing. Not plausible, not reassuring. Fair enough. And I also realized, because she was saying to me, oh, it can't be nothing. And I realized, you know what? To be fair, 5% of the time, it's not nothing. Like a lot of men, 5% of the time, I'm thinking about something so pathetic and valueless that for the good of the realm, it must be suppressed. You know, burn the files, kill everyone who's read them, that kind of thing. Just, this is not good. So I thought, okay, technically I am lying then when I say nothing on those occasions, and you shouldn't lie to your partner about your thoughts. That is intolerable. It'd be like going out with the KGB. What are you thinking about? Oh, Stalin is wise. What are you thinking about? The same. It's good, we both think that. So I thought, okay, fair enough. I made her a deal. I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. The next time you ask me, what are you thinking about? And it's not nothing, it is this like 5%er. Next time you ask me, and it is something, I'll just immediately tell you. No matter what it is, I'll just say it. And she said, well, that's all I want. And I said, well, we'll see. We will see. And we did see. We were on holiday. We had gone to visit the set where they filmed a lot of the movie in Bruges. Bruges. We went to Bruges. If only there was an easier way to... We went to Bruges, if you've never been, very romantic. It looks like it's made out of gingerbread, beautiful medieval chocolate box kind of town. And we were sat eating chips by a canal, which in Belgium is romantic. And I had not said anything in too long. And so she goes, what are you thinking about? And as per our agreement, I said, I was trying to remember whether or not fish have salty blood. I need all of you to understand how absolutely fine I thought that was. Because we had an agreement, and it was the truth. So what more do you want? And, you know, and I now know, looking back, that that's not, you know, if you're on a romantic holiday with your partner in Bruges and contemplating the canal, and they say, what are you thinking about? That's not the kind of answer they want. They want something like, oh, will we ever dance again? How many children will skitter through the cottage of our dreams? Shall we be wed in Galicia? Long-term romantic stuff is the category that we're after here. Salty fish blood. It's probably not even top 50. So she goes, why are you thinking about that? And I said, I don't think going into how I got here is going to help my case. And she goes, no, I really need to know, because I want to know how you ended up thinking about something so weird. So I said, okay. And I told her, and I will tell you all now. So, she does not like mayonnaise. It's gonna take a while to get to the... Just accept that now. It's gonna take a while to get... Okay, so, anyway, right, okay. So, she does not like mayonnaise, right? This is a problem in Belgium. Belgium doesn't have a lot of stuff. They got moule frite. They got beer. They got mayonnaise. They got a harrowing colonial legacy. But they only really want to chat about the first three. And once you cut mayonnaise out of that equation, you're down to 2 of your available Belgian treats. The holiday's crumbling in front of you, isn't it? And when we ordered chips to eat by the canal, she said to the waiter, a Belgian patriot, by the way, no mayonnaise, please. And he was visibly offended. He drew himself up, like that. And I thought we could use a man like this at the picture house. That's what I thought. This guy's got standards. And he said, well, what could you possibly want instead? And she said, oh, ketchup. From his face, she may as well have said, I was hoping you could be sick into my hands. I will dip the chips in that. He was revolted, but he was a pro, so off he went. And with the chips, he comes back with the chips and what I'm going to call a passive-aggressively enormous fucking bowl of ketchup. I thought it was soup for a different table. Way more than is in a bottle. He was just in the kitchen, just... Give me another, those pigs want ketchup. He puts it down like this. And I look at it and I go, fucking hell. I thought that was soup. I suppose it is soup. In a way. I mean, you could eat it with a spoon. You mustn't. But you could. How long could man live on ketchup alone? No drinks. Ah. Some calculations being hurriedly revised, I see. No water, no drinks, just ketchup. There's definitely water in ketchup. That's why sometimes you get that horrible little announcement before the ketchup arrives. But there's a lot of salt in there too, isn't there, MyFitnessPal? I suppose the question therefore boils down to the following. Is the amount of water inherent in ketchup sufficient to counteract the dehydrating effects of the salt also inherent in ketchup? Or, per bowl consumed, are we running what you might call an overall hydration deficit? If so, how long will it take that deficit to amount to actual medical dehydration and eventual death? 3 days? Seems soon. 3 weeks? Grow up. No. Well, we don't have the data. We don't have the data. And then I remembered an analogous scenario, right? I remember watching a documentary about the guy who has the world record for surviving the longest adrift in the ocean in a life raft. And I thought, well, there we go. Salt, dehydrated, it's all there, you know. And it was in a documentary I watched over 10 years ago, but I still remember it. And it was on the History Channel, and it was in between 2 documentaries about Hitler. And I wasn't happy to see it there. I don't watch this channel for not Hitler, I said to myself. Even as I turned it on, I was saying, the guy on this raft, you better turn out to be Hitler. It wasn't Hitler, it was a normal man. And he survived adrift in the open Atlantic in a life raft from a shipwreck for 40 days, something biblical. And he drank rainwater that he collected in the tip of the tent when he inverted it, and he ate fish that he caught using the fishing kit that comes with the raft. And that blew my mind. I didn't think the fishing kit that came with life rafts worked. Like, I didn't think it was for anything. I thought the fishing kit in a life raft was like the whistle on life jackets. A prop to reassure the simple-minded. a whistle. You're going to slap into the Atlantic at 1,000 miles an hour. Boop, boop. They stand up there and they say, the whistle's for attracting attention. You're like, I think the plane crash will... It's a better start when it comes to attracting attention. The enormous plume of smoke might be a better... So I thought that was what it was, right? Like, your ship goes down, you get on the raft, and it's there to reassure, like, you're there with your son and some other passengers, and he's tugging on your coat, and he's going, we'll use the fishing kit, won't we, Papa? You ruffle his hair. Yes, boy. We'll fish up a storm. As you silently gauge which is the most edible passenger. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I hold my hands up. Wrong about that. This guy was fishing up an absolute storm in the open ocean with a bare hook. Now, I don't know if you've ever gone fishing, but the fishing people, very keen to emphasize that that's not an option. They go, fish, clever, cunning, elusive. You need to be seduced over hours like a duchess. Filet mignon on the hook, peacock feathers to lure them in with the dancing colors. Bullshit, apparently. That's all salesmanship. This guy plopping a bare hook into the open ocean, fish just going, oh, yum! Oh, yum, the most dangerous shape I've ever seen. I'll eat that. Fish are idiots. They deserve everything they get. Is it weird that I want to have a go on the raft? Is that odd? A couple of weeks on the raft? I like it. I like the idea. I don't want to be in danger. I want there to be like a rescue boat nearby or something, or like a flare gun, like a tracker. But a couple of weeks on the raft. Doesn't it seem like the kind of thing like a Silicon Valley guy would do? Like a bored tech bro. Once you've done your third Iron Man, there's nothing left but the raft. Drink rainwater, eat sushi, you catch yourself. I want to reset. That's what they always say. It's a great way to reset. I want to reset. Here's my logic, right? If I was on the raft for just a couple of weeks, it would fix my sleep, right? I'd become a morning person. Because on the raft, you're asleep with the sun, you're up with the sun. There's no choice on the raft. And morning people, they seem to have a good time. Maybe that's why I don't enjoy things. I'm too tired. Morning people, they're going around, doopy-doopy-doo, their elbows out, they've got that Ned Flanders energy. You got any morning people in? What time?
Like 6.
6, that's pretty good. And are you one of those people that just like, I'm awake, that's it, I'm awake?
Yeah.
I got to get out of bed, I'm awake. Imagine. Imagine saying the phrase, I'm awake, I have to get out of bed, in any scenario that does not involve a sniper. It didn't even sound right saying it then. I'm not a morning person. Waking up is the worst part of my fucking life every day. Every day it's the worst part of my life. I wake up every morning like I have just had major surgery. I'm confused. I'm in agony. Nurse! My eyes, it's like trying to blink over Ferrero Rocher. Spiky balls. My mouth tastes like ass. My ass tastes like mouth, I don't know. There's a chance that's how badly I've slept. I've rolled around so much that my pipes have internally rotated, and now the bum end's at the top and I'm tasting it. And then I have to go for the biggest but darkest piss of my life. What does it mean? A dark piss means you need more water, but a big piss means you're fine. It can't be both. I can't need more and less water. And when I say it's dark, I'm not dying. It's not, but it's a rich golden hue. It's the piss of Midas. If you saw fields the color of this piss, you'd be a fine harvest this year. And then you have to have breakfast, and I can't eat that early in the morning, right? My stomach, it's like a shriveled up old carrier bag in your pocket. It's not ready to receive objects yet, yeah? But you have to force feed yourself because the tasks are coming. Uh-oh. They'll be here by about 9, and you need energy to fight the tasks. And that's why every breakfast food comes with butter or jam or whatever. It's just lube. Lube it up. Poke it in. It's the only way it's getting in, if it's lubed up. You have to treat yourself like a foie gras goose every morning. Lube it up. Blah, blah, blah. Get it in there. Get some task energy. It's a disgusting way to start your day. Force-fed, like a goose. And then I get up at these insane times. Explain what I mean. So I do this as a job. It's a nighttime job. But sometimes that it doesn't go well for you, right? You have a rail replacement bus nightmare. I once got back to my flat in my bedroom at 3 a.m. and I had to get up at 6 a.m. to be on the radio. So that's when you just go, okay, my life is on fire. I'm only going to get 3 hours sleep. I have to accept that, and I'll just set my alarm and deal with it. So I set my alarm, 6:09. Phew! I was nearly going to be tired in the morning. That's that bullet dodged. It doesn't help. It does nothing. All you're doing the night before is going, okay, I'm definitely going to be knackered, but what if in the morning when I woke up, I wasn't just knackered, I was also late. Not late because I've had like a lovely breakfast or a chat with my family, just upon gaining consciousness, behind schedule. Just eyes open, late. That would lend a fun energy to the force-feeding part of the day. Late. Oh. And then you have to have coffee. And I like coffee, but I want to have it at my leisure. Not by force, as a kind of performance-enhancing drug. And that's what it is. Coffee is there to solve an age-old problem. You are awake. Your bum is asleep. Wakey, wakey, bum. Coffee's going to wake up, bum. Not nicely. Coffee is going to wake up your bum like it's a hostage rescue SWAT team. It's going to battering ram in the door. Pow! Shotgun through the lock of his bedroom door. Blam! Grab your bum by the neck of its pajamas. Where are they? Where are the turds? That's why people smoke in the morning. Did you know that? Same effect, apparently. You fill your body up with smoke, the turds can't breathe in there. Coughing, they flee for the only exit. Like getting a badger out of a den. If that's observational for anyone. It's a horrible fucking way to start 5 days out of every 7. And you're in this terrible state, and then you have to put up with the news. Now, I like the news. I'm subscribed to everything, but like from lunchtime onwards, please. In that delicate state, it's not appropriate. You know, there you are, crusty eyes, stink mouth, big weird piss, panicked, force-feeding, shitting, late. And then a man in a suit appears on the television and just reads out a list of all the war crimes you slept through. Oh, good, you're up. So. Fuck. Shush, leave me alone. I'm not the foreign secretary. These are not my tasks. Later at noon, when I'm emotionally ready for the state of the world. And then you've got your 8 to 10 hours of tasks. Oh, the only highlight is lunch. The shittest meal. And it is. Every good lunch you've ever had was good because it was like dinner. Wow, what a great lunch. Oh, why was it good? It lasted for 3 hours, it was hot food in a restaurant, and we got pissed. Right, dinner then. Dinner. Lunch is terrible. It's a meal deal sandwich. No getting around it. It's a meal deal sandwich at your desk. And they've never been good. But lately, they're full of lies. Someone, over at Big Sandwich, has decided to trick me by scraping the filling out of the middle of the sandwich where it lives and instead smearing it onto the external lips of the sandwich in order to give the impression of a sandwich that overfloweth with filling and bounty. And so when you're standing there in front of your bank of depressing meal deal sandwiches in your shop of choice, peering at them through their sweaty little windows, like some Amsterdam punter, you see it and you think, my God, is it even legal to fill a sandwich to this extent? The tuna mayo cucumber is bursting out of this thing. Have I won a prize? Quickly, you buy it, take it back to your desk, you take a bite. Within a desert of bread, betrayal. It's empty. You flip it up, yeah, it's gone, nothing in there. The filling was on the outside the whole time. And now you get to poke it back in with your fingertips, even though they're still horrible from the bus. Undignified, unacceptable. Oh, you can have a wrap. They're shit as well. A wrap is a tube of mayonnaise cut in half. It's a tube of fucking mayonnaise, and one half's got a shred of chicken in, and the other half's got the bum piece from a lettuce. And if you can choke those down, what's your reward? A sailor's knot of plain pastry at the base. A flavorless fist of dough that you get to gnaw through like a dog. It's like dentist sticks texture. You can feel it cleaning your gums while you eat it. I could enjoy things more. There's some routes I won't take on moral grounds. Shame, for example. In the UK, shame is a very popular way to try and buck people's ideas up. Make them have fun with some shame. Like those people who tell you horrible facts to try and cheer you up, as if that makes sense. You know? As in, like, you go, oh my God, look at all the flights are cancelled. My whole holiday's fucking ruined. I can't go. I can't make it. And they go, well, people are being murdered in Afghanistan, so... And you go, oh, now I am sad about two things. Thank you. I've never understood how that's supposed to make you feel better. But what fucking reaction do those people want from me? Oh, fuck, my holiday's ruined. Well, people are being murdered in Afghanistan. Yeah, you're right, yeah. Is that what you want, you sociopath? I mean, the worst of it was, I originally grew up, at least initially, in South Africa, so I didn't have this when I was a kid. But when I moved here, I discovered that all of you were being shamed into finishing your food using hypothetical African children. It's quite a creepy thing to discover, to be honest. I also don't know why they have to be African every time. I'd never heard it before in South Africa, ever in my life. And I was at a friend's house. I was maybe 8 years old, I don't know. And his mum said it in front of me, you know. My friend wasn't finishing his food. He said, you better eat those fish fingers. There's kids in Africa who'd love those fish fingers. And I was there like... I mean, I've just come from there. I mean, maybe, I don't know. How do you know? It hasn't been mentioned. I think it was democracy we wanted. Maybe fish fingers second? To celebrate? Weird. The dinner table is no place for patronizing neo-colonial rhetoric. I think that's in Debrett's. Very, very strange. And also, again, I don't get the logic of what kind of response you want from the kid. You know, there's a kid there, I don't want to eat this fish finger. Well, you better eat that fish finger. There's a starving boy in Africa who'd love that fish finger. Oh. Well, in that case... I'll eat every crumb if it means he starves. I'd lost my appetite, Mother, till you mentioned the dying boy. I'll eat it just to keep it from his little fingers. It's the reaction of a demon. The only logical reaction is my reaction. I don't want this fish finger. Well, there's a starving boy in Africa who'd love that fish finger. What? You're telling me that this fish finger that I do not want could save the life of another little boy? We're fucking quick! What are we even talking for? Quick, get a fucking refrigerated envelope or something. I don't know. Wait, how long have you known about this? Decades? I'm 8. That's going to be my defense at The Hague. Quick, give me the fucking envelope. Quick, quick, quick. Where are we sending this? Africa? We got to narrow that down. That's why I said hypothetical African children, by the way. Not because there are no hungry African children, of course there are, but your parents just didn't have a specific village in mind, shall we say? Or country, if we're honest with ourselves. Just, Africa, that fucking country. It's a very strange way to decide if something's any good. Imagining a hypothetical African boy and wondering if they'd envy you. Enjoy it or don't. Am I enjoying myself? I'll imagine an African boy. And if I think he'd envy me, I'm having a good time. It's really creepy. I think I don't like it because it's comparative enjoyment, right? You go, I'm going to enjoy this on the basis that someone else has it worse. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it's even moral. The master of comparative enjoyment, by the way, was Charles Dickens. Now, if you don't know who Charles Dickens was, that is your fault. I really think society could not have done more to help with the whole who is Charles Dickens question. And I think once there's a Muppets version of something, it really is down to the individual. You're not going to get more accessible than puppets. So Charles Dickens, the Victorian author, he was obsessed with Christmas, not just in his work, where he basically invented the idea of modern middle-class Christmas, but in life, as a guy, he was obsessed, and he would have a big Christmas feast every year with his friends, family, associates. And one year, Charles Dickens hired an actor to pretend to be a tramp, right? Dress up like a tramp, big coat and boots. And his job was to stand outside Charles Dickens' window during the Christmas feast and stamp his boots in the ice and slush and sort of say loudly complaints about how awful his life was. Oh, it's a bitterly cold Christmas Eve. Oh, if only I had a family of my own, things like that. And the idea was that these would drift through the window to the ears of the guests of Charles Dickens, whereupon they would be all the more grateful for the good food, wine, and company of old Charles Dickens. Now, isn't that less the sort of thing you'd expect from Charles Dickens and more the sort of thing you'd expect from Hannibal Lecter? Isn't that mad? And there was no lesson, by the way. There wasn't a bit where the tramp came in and went, gotcha! Like, no. It was just like a meal enhancement device. I mean, I'm not knocking its effectiveness. It would work. I've considered it. I know a lot of out-of-work actors. For the price of a beer, I could have someone outside the door of this theater dressed as a tramp right now. Oh, it's boring in the corridor. No one's observing anything out here. I wish someone would talk about sandwiches in a semi-sexual manner. And you'd all go, oh yeah. Oh, we're lucky to be here. If anything, I think Dickens didn't make the most of it. Keep the guy on retainer, have him round the house. Right? Night time, pop him in the corridor, outside the bedroom. Oh, it's lonely here in the corridor. I wish I was having sex with an author. Oh, there isn't even a penis in my mouth. I wish I had a fantastic penis like Charles Dickens, I've heard. And in the bedroom is Mrs. Dickens going, hey, you know what? That homeless man in the corridor is right. I'm lucky to be here. There's kids in Africa who'd love to fuck Charles Dickens. Comedy is about context, isn't it? There is someone who I'm trying to emulate, by the way. It's not just like doom and gloom. I have like a hero who has a good time, who I'm trying to follow and learn from. I heard about him from a friend of mine. He's like my cool friend. He goes all around the world going to techno concerts. Recitals, techno recitals. I don't know anything about that. I read big books about the Second World War with different guys. So he goes all to the techno recitals, and he was telling me about a techno venue in Berlin called Berghain, right? Now, Berghain, it's like a 5-story former industrial site, originally very much a sort of gay BDSM techno club, and they've expanded their remit to almost any BDSM. And you can queue up and stuff, but you can't like pay to skip the queue or pay to get in. It's very exclusive in a way money can't buy. It's very trendy, very discerning. Obviously, outside there's a guy dressed as a tramp. Oh, I wish I was being fisted by a Hungarian man. Anything to enhance the fun inside. And when you go inside, it's like amazing techno DJs and like people like having sex and doing drugs. It's like the apocalypse in there. And he's telling me all about it, and I've got nothing. Oh, it sounds like Sicily 43. I got nothing. And he says there's a guy who's quite well known, and you meet him in the sort of gents' toilet, right? And what he does is you go in there, and he has sort of tied himself up under the big trough in the loo, yeah? And if you go to the loo for a wee, this guy will ask you in English and German very politely if you wouldn't mind, sir, perhaps considering having a wee on him as well, because it's his favorite. And if you say no, he's like, no worries, you have a good night. You know, it's all very civilized in context. And he is known colloquially as the Piss Goblin. And you can Google him, Piss Goblin Berlin, as I did, seconds after this conversation finished. And I don't know if there's anyone I currently admire more than the Goblin. I really mean it. Even as my friend was describing the Piss Goblin, I was thinking, now here is a guy with no questions left. This guy knows who he is. This guy knows what he wants. Piss. But it's a big deal to know what you want, isn't it, out of life? There's a lot of people in this room who don't know what they want yet. This guy's got it nailed down. He knows what he wants. And he goes and he gets it. Even if you're sitting here and you know what you want, have you got it yet? The Goblin has. The Piss Goblin knows what he wants. He goes and he gets it. Where does he get it? Somewhere he is safe and known and accepted for who he is. There's no one in this room as fulfilled as the Piss Goblin. He's the freest man I know, and he's chained to a urinal. I can't imagine the inner strength it gives him, knowing that all that stuff's just figured out. He's out there now, some regional German civil servant. He's filling in report after report into Autobahn maintenance, you know. His boss is a real dick. Wo sind diese Berichte? Schnell! And he's like, I'm doing them, my God! Oh, roll on Freitag. Oh. Lieben für das Weekend, recht? Ja. Oh, I can taste it now. Don't know if he drinks the wee. That was my first question, obviously. My friend does not know the internet is divided. You can drink wee. I mean, you mustn't. But you can. You drink wee, you drink blood, you drink anything from a body probably to an extent, I think. The guy on the raft, when he ran out of water, he'd rip the heads of fish off and squeeze them into his mouth like a horrible orange and drink that. And he was, well, and that's when my girlfriend interrupted me. So, I told you it would take a while. She did not like any of this, by the way. So there's this goblin. But it's true, and look, as for the answer to the question, why can't I just enjoy things, I do have an answer, I think. And if you put a question in your title, you should have an answer at the end, right? That's satisfying. I was doing a preview, a work in progress of this show in Bristol, the Hackney of southwest England. Cool hipster basement, 11% beer, you know. And it was a fun, rowdy gig. People were chipping in, but in like a good way, constructive stuff. And this guy piped up. I'd had a bit of Roman history-based banter with him Yeah, it's no Berghain, but I do what I can. We'd had a bit of Roman history-based banter because he was a PhD student, and at one point I'm explaining all this stuff about why I don't enjoy things or how my mind works, and he just goes, well, you just sound like me. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I have Asperger's, and you just sound like me. I was like, you have Asperger's, and you think that I also have Asperger's because I sound like you. And he goes, yeah. And I said, why? And he goes, well, you knew all that history stuff. And I thought, well, that can't be enough. I mean, it's not the only question on the form. Surely. Do you like history? Well, then I've got some news. Come on, you know. So I made a joke out of it and whatever. We moved on. It was fine. But then the next day, I was on the train back to London. And I was thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I don't agree. People throw these terms around. I mean, I guess he has it, so maybe... you know, I've been heckled a lot in my career, but rarely so medically specifically, you know. Hecklers rarely go diagnostic. If anything, they paint with something of a broad brush, you know, your shit, things of this nature. And I thought, you know what, I'll show him who has Asperger's. So I conducted 5 to 6 days of intense research. And I found a website where they put up all the tests they do to screen you before they give you the big interview, right? Because they want to screen you out if you don't have it. So you fill in these tests, and if your score's high enough, then you kind of qualify for the big chat. So I thought, great, I'll fill it in, and we'll put this whole thing to bed. And I filled it in, and I scored high. Not NASA high, but European Space Agency, pretty high. Pretty high. So I went, oh, fucking hell. I sent it to a friend. I was like, what score did you get? And he goes, 7. It's out of 240. I got 130 or something. I was like, 7? Did you just put your name? What the fuck? So I was like, okay, I need to sort this out. And like where I live in London, the waiting list for this kind of thing for an adult is years. So I just went, screw it. I'm just going to pay the money and get this figured out. And I did it, and I had the session with the doctor. He didn't even need the whole session. It was like halfway, and he was like, yeah, you got it. He's like, you got it. Get out of here, champ. Go read a big book about tanks or something. I don't know. Enjoy your day. The rest of the time is your own. If only there'd been a warning sign. Now, I have the set list for the show here. And bearing in mind that when I got that heckle and then when I got the diagnosis, the show had existed for well over a year, right? So the show's not made for the diagnosis. The diagnosis describes the show. So let's look. If only there had been a warning sign that I see exaggeration as a form of lying, the cry laughing emoji, fury at public rule breaking, all the cinema theater stuff, food textures, crisps and wine gums, not very externally reactive, the North Korea I'm enjoying myself thing, an inability to know when to tell small lies. Fish blood, why do you ask? A preference for alone time. I'd like to go on the raft, please. Issues with maintaining a solid routine, the morning, and idiomatic confusion or rejection, African children. So, yeah, it's supposed to be a set list, not a checklist. It's quite embarrassing after the diagnosis to just keep doing the show. Just going around the country going, and another thing I hate. Oh, yeah. And to be, and like, I'm 32, right? Like, it's like finding out that your legs have just been broken the whole time. You're just in the doctor's office going, I thought everybody's knees were crunchy. Is that not good? Nice crunchy knee? And to be diagnosed by a heckler. The comedian's natural foe. It's like finding out you're diabetic from Voldemort. Harry, your urine shouldn't smell like sugar puffs. Do you think the Piss Goblin's ever diagnosed anyone with diabetes? He must have, right? Like, at least once. At least once he must have just been like, that was like golden syrup. You're welcome back any time, but you must go to the hospital. A friend of mine saw this show, and she said, oh, at the end, you really must tell people how it felt to get this diagnosis. You know, how did it feel? That's what people will want to know. And I have to admit, that absolutely did not occur to me. Further proof But the medical community have absolutely nailed this one. Genuinely, she said it, and I was like, oh yes, feelings. People like to go on about them instead of dealing with them in total silence. How did it feel? Well, I mean, it's worth doing. It's answered a lot of questions. It's explained a great deal. It's quite useful. But then at the same time, I'm 32. The cake's very much already been baked. So yeah, 6 out of 10. It's fine. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.